Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Welcome back to Stream of Wisdom, Norfolk, Virginia, live for the Shabbat class. We're here on YouTube. We ask that everybody like and share the video. Have y'all been checking out the shorts, the manna of the days? Okay, make sure y'all support because what we got. You know, brothers are taking their time, learning the editing skills, doing the things to get this gospel out in different forms and fashions. Speaking of which, we got the brothers in our different locations. Stream of Wisdom, Rochester, New York, with the brother priest Zion Allah and Shaquat Bar. We have S.O.W. Stream of Wisdom Houston with the brother priest Quatazab Ash and Shaka. We also have Stream of Wisdom, Sword of Truth with Award of Iron, Shepshawan and Dawayad out there in San Antonio, Texas. And don't forget to check out Podbean with the brother priest Mashaba, Nagaya, and Tazafa. All the brothers, all the priests out there doing the work. And also don't forget the brothers out in Albuquerque, the brother Aisha Wataza, all the brothers out there, doing the work of the Most High. Again, we appreciate all the alms for brothers and sisters. If you haven't benefited from the classes, you want to support what we're doing, it's appreciated and needed. Please send it to, you can sell it to 757-300-4047. Once again, 757-300-4047. Well, tonight we're going to go into questions, right? Does anybody have any questions in here before we check online? Okay, that's one lie. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, Shad. Okay. So Shad has a question.
Want me to just ask it?
Oh yeah.
So, as far as the names being used in the house, like as far as the Messiah is concerned, right? So I've been running into this a lot. Actually, I watched the Cam Newton interview recently, but I think the dude's name is Jason Wilson or something like that.
Yeah, the sports guy.
Yeah, what I noticed is it's a lot of names being used interchangeably that ain't necessarily fitting. So it'll be people who are referring to the Son and they'll say like Yahweh, or it'll be people who are referring to the Father and they'll refer to him as Yehoshua, or stuff like that. But it was a bunch of inconsistencies in this interview, and I know I've heard even in here, like in the house, where like you might hear the name Jesus. I'm wondering, and I'm gonna ask it as like a question because I don't use the name Jesus at all, But I'm wondering, why is that name still being used? And maybe y'all understanding or what y'all come to conclude like is different from what because I find it a complete fabrication altogether. It's not a translation at all. But I wanted to know where y'all were with it, because I hear Yahweh Shaka, I hear and then I've been hearing Jesus, so I don't really like to go back and forth with them because I think it causes a lot of confusion. But I also think that I get a lot of in talking to other people, what I think Christians are doing nowadays is I think they picking up language. There's no understanding. So like I talk to them about certain things and then they just be throwing names around. Like I'd be like, what are you talking about? Like you don't know what you're talking about. So I know that I'm in here with people who actually do study. So I wanted to know where y'all were.
Go to Isaiah 28 real quick. And this is where we get our stance from. This is where not only us, you'll see a lot of Israelite groups read English. Sounds like I'm trying to be funny, but I'm not. They're reading in English or saying in English. Because the fact is, we speak English. So a lot of times we got to remember that as well, that it's regardless of what our understanding is, what we know is fact, because truthfully what you just said, like what you believe is literally what we believe, like fabricated, right? English is a fabricated language in itself. So we believe that too, but at the same time, not everybody believes or understands like us, right? I can speak and say all the prayers in Hebrew, but is everybody gonna understand it? No. So most of the time, a cat that don't understand won't even repeat it because they don't know what's being said. So I'm sure you've been in class, brothers caught you sometimes, you won't pray. Why?
Because like you just said, like if I don't understand it, then I won't say it.
But then-
I'll just wait. You know what I'm
But
saying?
that's the point though. Like, why you're asking? I mean, that literally answers your question on why we use Jesus sometimes.
So I've heard that before. Like I've
Right,
heard like
yeah.
well, we speak English. I heard this from remember when I told you
Yeah.
about the Mothers of God church.
Okay.
So they had a Mother of God in this church. And they say the same thing. So I say, so typically what they'll resort to when I ask the question is they'll say, so what are you talking about? Yeshua, right? Or they'll say Yahshua or however they pronounce it, right? So if you take that name and it translates to English, the closest thing you're gonna get is Joshua. You're not gonna get Jesus. So I make that clear to them. I say, listen, you're not gonna get Jesus from any of this. Like it's just not gonna come out. Like it's no way. If you translate, it's not a translation. So even if we speak English, then it'll be Joshua if anything, because it's the closest thing to it.
Well, we're just talking about reading as opposed to like I'll read it, we'll read it, and it'll say Jesus Christ as is,
Right.
and then somebody new will be here and we say, brothers go out, Yahweh Shema Mashiach Yahweh Shai, and they're like, who's that?
Mm-hmm.
So go to Isaiah 28. This is kind of just to where that stance comes from. Read that Isaiah 28 and 8.
Isaiah chapter 28, verse 8.
Uh-huh.
For all tables are full of bondage
Right.
and filthiness, so that there is no place clean.
Right. The table is where you eat at. Right now, what our people are consuming is vomit. They're not consuming the true knowledge of the Most High because there's a lot that's left out. So it's just regurgitated madness a lot of times that our people are consuming. Go ahead.
Verse 9. Whom shall he teach knowledge?
So who is he going to teach the knowledge of the Most High? This is a question. Go ahead.
And whom shall he make to understand doctrine?
Who is going to understand doctrine? A lot of times we teach this in future tense, but he's asking a question. He's asking who is going to learn doctrine and knowledge. Go ahead.
Them that are weaned from the milk and
See, you have to get the basics, but it's telling us them that are off the basics. You're weaned from the basics. So a lot of people don't even have the principles and the basics down, right? Go ahead.
and drawn from the breast.
Right. Now, I started up because that way we can read in context of what is being said, right? Even though this is not necessarily to your question, but it goes into your question. Go ahead.
For precept must be upon precept,
Uh-huh.
precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line,
Yeah.
here a little and there a little. For with stammering lips in another tongue will he speak to this people.
So that's, the Bible is telling us we're going to speak in another language. In all of our captivities, I mean, what was our names in the captivity? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, right? Those were Babylonian names. Those weren't necessarily their true names.
Right.
It would go to the Hebrew if you wanted to really know their name. But so, in all contexts, not only the names of the Most High, when we start getting into like language and different definitions of what this means and that means, I think that's where the confusion comes in, that we're speaking in another language. So a lot of times I can speak in the language in the language of Hebrew, and nobody understands. Nobody will say amen. Nobody will read along. So it's not for you. It's not for you because you understand. But it's for the unlearned. And then that's where we go to 1 Corinthians, the 14th chapter, real quick. Let's go straight to it. But I wanted to go there to show that even with the precepts, it was said that we would learn in another language. It would be in another tongue. We're learning this even back in the days. I'm going to tell y'all, when I first came in, we would read the Torah. We would read the actual Torah in on Sabbath class. But nobody reads, nobody studies Hebrew. So it'd be going over everybody's head, and it'd be against the understanding of the Most High if we were to speak in another language and not be able to give the understanding. Right? Go ahead.
Start it off. 1 Corinthians 14, verse 9.
Mm-hmm.
1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 9. So likewise ye, except ye utter by the tongue words easy to be understood.
Uh-huh.
How shall it be known what is spoken?
Right, but no, let's jump and establish the point real quick. That it is what was being talked about is language as well. So 14 and 4.
1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 4.
Uh-huh.
He that speaketh in an unknown tongue edifieth himself.
So once again, back to the prayers. If we're praying in, Yahweh Hashem Shai, we're saying all these prayers and we're not translating, or we're not coming back and saying who you call Jesus Christ, right? Or read it. For some people, we don't even do that, right? You can see some sisters, some people are skeptical. They don't know Yahweh Shai. They've been told. Now there's a thing going about that Yahweh is from the devil's Bible. Yeah, that the devil, that remember, and Shab, we know, but remember, the name of the game is confusion.
Right.
And to put doubt, to put fear, to put, why do you think, if you notice, look around, why you don't see the Star of David? That's on purpose. I wore the Star of David since I came to the truth. You know why we don't have it? Because the conscience of others. Because they, right out from the back, they went on the internet and were told negativity about it. Now, I can go to the Bible and show you it ain't even a star. It's a pomegranate, right? It don't got nothing to do with a star. Star, according to the Bible, was round. It was circle, right? But they were told, oh, that's the star of Molech. So we don't have it up because they don't understand. It said, if my meat offend, I will no longer eat meat. So I might understand, you might understand, and I know that for a fact, that in the Bible, they carved in the temple pomegranates, right? They carved in the temple lilies, which are 6 points. They got pictures of it, but why don't we have them? Because people ain't about knowledge. They're automatically going to judge and be like, oh, y'all got the Star of Molech. Why y'all wearing the Star of Molech? Not knowing what the hell they're talking about. But so when we do it, Paul gave us the insight in the Spirit to show us conscience-wise. You got to be aware of what they're going to do to the gospel and do if we're not aware. So we don't have the Star of David, right? When we speak, when we read the Bible, a lot of times, I'll say, just read it for what it says. So the person in the room can understand, oh, they're talking about who I know as Jesus Christ. It's not some God. It's not some made-up entity. We're talking about the Savior, right? So you're asking where do we stand on it? We stand on it in these two places. Isaiah 28 tells us we're going to speak in another language. Paul in the Spirit is telling us what? Read this.
He that speaketh in an unknown tongue edifieth himself.
Right. You're not edifying anybody if we come back and say Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, and then this person doesn't even know who that is. Well, go ahead.
But he that prophesieth edifieth the church.
Right. But if we were to prophesy
It's about edifying the church. I'm gonna say it again. Brothers are like, well, he's been here. He's smart. Why he ain't praying with us? Because you don't know what's being said. Period. Right? But nobody judges you for that. Well, we understand. I get it. I get it. He doesn't know what we're saying. Why would he repeat what we're saying? But that's exactly what Paul said. The way you think, the way I think, is why we use sometimes Jesus Christ. We know that in his name, but it's written. Every Bible got it what? As that. So they don't know no other way until they do. Right? And then when we all do, when we all find out everybody in here, his name is Yahweh Shai, right? There's going to be another new person coming in that went through the tunnel of YouTube and said, oh, well, I used to be a devil worshiper, and that is the name Yahweh is used in devil worshiping.
I never heard of
You ain't know? Bruh, because you know why? Because this is what they're doing to reverse psychology on the Star of David, on the name of the Most High. So now it's like, okay, so you're using that name, you wearing that star, you're a devil worshiper. They call evil good and good evil. So this is a whole, we know the game is manipulative. So sometimes we'll come back and be like, well, who you call Jesus Christ, that's who we're talking about, right? We're talking, we know his name, his proper name in Hebrew would be this, right? He who saves, right? Yahweh Shai, right? So you're asking us why? That's why. That's why we would use it for everybody else. Jump back down to the verse you were at originally.
Verse 9. Yeah, verse 9.
Go ahead.
So likewise ye, except ye utter by the tongue words easy to be understood, how shall it be known what is spoken?
And what is the easy words that are to be understood? It's not Hebrew. And it's definitely not Paleo-Hebrew. You got people with the whole argument with that. If you've been around a little bit, they're like, well, that Paleo-Hebrew was made up by High Priest Ariah. It's like, what? Before Ariah lived, there was Paleo-Hebrew written on the Moabite stone. Like, they don't know this. Like, this is history. Like, but the uneducated, the guy that's on YouTube that is really not studying, they're just going off of what somebody hyped is talking about. They're not really going back and studying the information. So, I don't know if you heard that. The Paleo-Hebrew was made up by one of the priests of the school. I'm like, how does that make any damn sense when he wasn't born in 586? He wasn't born in the beginning, right? Because even if you talk about that, yeah, Adam spake Hebrew. They're like, well, how do you know that? And then you have to go through the archaeological information to be able to say, okay, let's look at what all languages came from, right? So it's a whole different thing. But yes, they are going around saying that the name Yahweh was used in the Devil's Bible. The 6-point star, which is used by the Devil's Bible, but it's also used by the so-called Jews, right? And when it deals with sacrifice, this is what's being said. We know it's a lie. We know we don't got nothing to do with that. But how do we differ? By just edifying. Hey, look, you call him this, but this is his name in Hebrew, right? So, finish that? Was that it? No, those are. Yes.
There are, it may be, so many kinds of voices in the world, and none of them is without signification. Therefore, if I know not the meaning of the voice, I shall be unto him that speaketh a barbarian.
Yeah. So, and that's we get it when people come in and don't pray. A lot of times, I'll just say everything in English. You know what I mean? I won't even pray in Hebrew. I'll say we're not, because you can feel the vibe on some people, like they get uncomfortable. They're like, okay, we're gonna pray. Like, I don't know y'all, and we all gonna pray together. I get that too. I won't go in the spot and just pray with somebody I don't know right away. I gotta know what's going on, right? I gotta know what's being said. The scriptures say, try the spirit by the spirit. So, and then if you know the Bible, it tells us what? Somebody got to be able to translate these things. And I mean, I think even if in our spirit, if we don't know the language, we could be like, well, they could be making up anything. So, yeah, that's what they think. They think you're making it up because why? My people is destroyed for lack of knowledge. They're uneducated, so they don't know. So you have to break it down to the basics to show them, okay, this is an actual language. Let me go to the Bible. He said he cried what? Abba. Abba, A is the first letter of Paleo-Hebrew alphabet. A, Ba, Ga, Da. Right, in the Bible though. You see that? Even though it's not written out the whole alphabet, you can see that the dialect, that's another problem people have a problem with. You were just saying before y'all walked in. The dialect, right? Is it Yoshua? Is it Yahushua? Yahweh? Right? Or is it Yahweh Shai? Well, we know Paleo-Hebrew didn't have vowels. It didn't have A-E-I-O-U. So it couldn't be Yehoshua. There's no U in there, right? So it's all going back to how Paleo-Hebrew in the dialect of Paleo-Hebrew. And we don't trip on that either, right? Because we get it. They, even when you look at, what's the other, the so-called Jews language. Now that's a whole mixture of all different languages. Yeah, Spanish, German, yeah. Yeah, it's a whole mess of different languages merged. So, but go ahead, you was gonna say.
I forgot.
Right. I mean, but I mean, so far, is it making sense? Like why we do that? Isaiah 28 says another language. Paul came back and was like, look, when you pray, when you say something in another language, edify, right? And then we are going to speak in other languages. What was Daniel speaking? What was Joseph speaking? Right? He wasn't speaking. He wasn't talking. His language wasn't Hebrew only. He was speaking. I'm talking about Moses, but I'm talking about Joseph. He was speaking Egyptian. They was raised there, exactly. So of course they're gonna speak that, right? Well, what else?
Verse 27.
Verse 27. If any man speak in an unknown tongue, let it be by two, or at the most by three, and that by course, and let one interpret.
Right, and let one interpret.
But if there be no interpreter, let him keep silence in the church, and let him speak to himself and to God.
Right. So the church has taught us what? That was gibberish, right? And we know damn well every written language, there's no language called gibberish. This is there's actual language in the Bible, and he was saying interpret what is being said, right? But yeah, I mean, if you remember what you were gonna say, just
No, it was just you mentioned, you was mentioning like people coming in and what they deal with, and typically coming from like a Christian church.
yeah,
I think a lot of people are dealing with trust issues.
yeah,
Because they walked into these spaces and grown up in these spaces at tender ages, vulnerable, and they've been lied to. Like
Yeah.
a lot of what they've been told has been lies. So they come into a space like this where people seem a whole lot more knowledgeable, people studying a little deeper. The Hebrew, the Aramaic is coming out, all that. And then it's like, how do I adjust to this? And how do I trust them?
Yeah.
If I could, if I'm coming from this space where I've already been betrayed, and they come into this space and they like, I'm not praying that. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Right?
Yeah.
So it's really like a trust issue. It's like, I have to, I guess, get familiar.
yeah,
Even the language. Like, I think anybody who's truly studying the word is going to fall into the etymology space anyway. If
Yeah.
you're studying, there's
Exactly.
no way that you won't. Like,
Exactly.
so you're going to know some words, you're going to know some stuff.
Right.
But whether I could put together a whole sentence, like if somebody come in and they like, hey, like I have people come into the shop and they like, my name is Dan. And I'd be like, is it short for Daniel? And they like, yeah. And I say, you know what Daniel means? I was like, cause you abbreviate your name, but it's a really important name. Do you know what it means? And they'd be like, no. So I tell them what it means. And then I tell them how to break it down. Like, this is this is that, but when you have that ability, like, even when I do that, I don't want them to trust me. Like, I'd be like, I don't want you to believe me. I want you to pull it up. I want you to study it. I want you to find out what it is.
Exactly.
So it ain't even a matter of like me forcing something on you. It's
Yeah.
more so me telling you so that you know something. You kind of getting a head start. I didn't get that. I didn't
Right.
get the privilege of somebody coming in and say, hey, this is what it means. Now go study.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just like I had to find it out from scratch. But in studying the word, you're gonna end up there anyway. Like, you don't have to study Hebrew. You'll have to.
Remember, this is why I tell Kendu as well, right? You're different. Your brothers gotta realize that you brothers are rare. We're rare. So you're in a whole different mental space when it comes to the knowledge of the Most High. Some people can't read. Some people don't want to read. Some people it's boring to read. Some people they just education-wise, they're not open to that, right? That's not how they grew up. So, all of this, what we're saying, like when you actually come in and start dealing with men, you start to realize that we're helping them study, right? We just had a whole conversation with a brother about the tests. Now, he grew up in his spirit, education-wise, he ain't messing with tests, right? I was the same way. But when it came to what I'm learning in the truth, I was gung-ho for the test, right? I wasn't like this brother. He was like, I don't see the test as necessary. So exactly. So we had to go back and remind him, what is written on the test? Is it some what's the guy that wear white and he called himself Ben Ami or something like that? I was like, what's on the test? Yahweh. I was like, what's on the test is literally from the Bible. We're asking you, do you remember what's in the Bible? And it opened up his mind. He was like, okay, you got me. He was like, you got me. He snapped out of it we're just asking that if you're going to teach this information that you know it, right? And that you're able to say, and we were talking about specifically the soldier's test. So we were showing him the Bible tells you about known men, what they're known for is why they got rank. He was like, yeah, but it wasn't a test. It wasn't a test. I was like, the way he's putting it, he processed it, he made it so hard, it was like, he forgot the test was just the Bible. And we're asking, hey, do you remember this in the Bible? And, some brothers just don't like it. They don't like information. Like, you brothers are special. And the ones that are here that are trying, they're fighting off a lot. Who likes to read? Hell nah. Put your hand down. Like to read is like how many books you got under your belt. Exactly. Like to read is not like to read is like how many books you read. Like that's like to read. Like, you know how you scroll? That means that you're not scrolling. You're like, nah, I'll get in a chapter. I'm reading this book. I'm reading this book. I'm reading this book.
Outside of truth.
Yeah, it's kind of like you know how many books you've read your whole life. You know it down to the number. I read 1,567 and a half books. You know what I'm saying?
And us in here, it's like, yeah, I read 5 books my whole life.
Yeah. That's
because we're not, like you said, we've been lied to. Like, our parents lied to us. It started with them. A lot of it, Tooth Fairies, Christmas, all that madness, we learned that from our parents. So we weren't sitting down learning read. Let's open up a book and read and get this information. So, yeah, I'm saying don't take that for granted, because when you start coming around, you're gonna see how hard it is to get a brother to be like, hey, are you studying? And you'd be thinking like, oh yeah, everybody's studying here. They're knowledgeable. Because we put them in the predicament to where they have to. You gotta be at class 3 days, 4 days out of the week. You gotta be at Hebrew Academy. And then we're in Hebrew Academy, like, go here. What scripture says? It's a training. But a lot of times they're like, okay, I did my training, I'm going home and relaxing. They're not still going in it. That's why there's not, he's an officer. They're the only ones in the whole school. And there's about 15 brothers in here when they all get here. When everybody comes at time, it's about, take away the kids, you can say, 10? But I still count the young men, right? 15 brothers. But do they want to step up and be the studious and take the degree, take the test? Not all the time, right? So you brothers are rare. That's all I'm saying. Like, it ain't gonna be as easy as we think. But that answers your question, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Did you have anything, I'm sorry, Jason, right? You didn't have none? Okay. All right. You did ask a question the other day, though. We wanted to touch on. You kind of mentioned it, Jason, and I mean, because we talked about a lot of stuff yesterday, right? We talked about a few things yesterday, and I wanted to touch back on something you had asked about. What was the question? I forgot. I mean, because we talked about so much, but what was it?
About being a leader.
About being a leader? You remember that, Jason?
Yeah.
Yeah, about being a leader. We were gonna touch on a little something like that for you. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, because this is a reminder to all of us. All right. Go to 2 Timothy's. So, being a leader. When we talk about being a leader, the first thing that doesn't come to our mind as Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans is being a leader at home. Yeah.
So was this the actual topic, or was we just going?
Yeah. I mean, it's a question / we were gonna go into the question. He's a new brother. He had, we wanted to answer his questions as he shoots them out, right? So, but being a leader first starts at home, right? In one of the classes and chapters and books we always go over to remind brothers is the simple structure. Like, this is not a complicated chapter. It's easy. 1 Timothy's 3rd chapter.
1 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 1.
Because I want you to go, we quoted it yesterday, but we didn't get a chance to go there. A nation of kings and priests were quoted. Yeah, 1 Peter 2 and 9. Let's go there. We quoted it. We quoted a lot of things, but we didn't get a chance to go over everything. Go ahead and read that.
1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 9.
Go ahead.
But ye are a chosen generation,
Right.
a royal priesthood,
Right.
a holy nation.
Right. So we've been chosen to be a holy nation. And one thing we were talking about a little bit last night was being holy and how to perform ourselves as these holy people. We don't function like that. We don't carry ourselves like that. We just thought, like the white man, we're just here to live. We're like the nations, we're just here to exist. And as long as we feed our belly and clothe ourselves, in that context, we're living, right? I'm living. But then we find out that when those things are taken away, we start to panic, we start to lose focus, we start to lose our mental stability when we don't have the bare essentials. So then it's like when I talk to my kids, I remind them, like, life is more than just meat and drink. It's more than just the bare essentials, because what happens, right when I left yesterday, football player, you see the young brother?
Yeah,
Cowboys.
24?
Marshawn's needed.
Bruh, he 24, killed himself. They just played the other night.
I didn't believe that. He got his first touchdown, right?
Yeah.
First touchdown.
Went home, right, run from the cops. I guess his mom passed away a little while ago, and he couldn't deal with it. But wait a minute, you just put everybody on. You just got millions of dollars. But that didn't matter at the end of the day. That didn't matter. They showed one of the interviews on the news, and he was like, basically, he had a little thing with his mom in it. They burned him up, right? And he was like, yeah, this is my mom. He said, I still deal with it at times. But think about it. The millions ain't what changed his mind. You know what I mean? Give us $1 million, right? That'll make you smile, because we know what to do with it. It doesn't matter. Your mind got to be intact when money comes into play, and vice versa, right? So you see that life isn't just meat and drink or kingship, right? Ricky Rose sipping rose and living in mansions and all that madness. It's more than that. So it's just these basic essentials kind of set us on the right path of where we're supposed to be thinking, on the way we're supposed to be dwelling on. Go ahead.
A peculiar people,
that
ye should show forth the praises of him that hath called you out of darkness into his marvelous light.
Yeah, I always word it this way. Do we bear witness we were in darkness? Because a lot of people still feel like, man, what? It wasn't that bad, right? You know what I mean? You just don't understand me. You just don't understand when I sold drugs, I pimped women, I was a lawyer, I was a doctor. Like, you just don't get it. But Yahweh is telling us what? You're in darkness. But how many of us bear witness that we are in darkness? I keep saying this. The prodigal son had to say to himself, I am in the mire. Right? You said it earlier. We just said it a second ago. It doesn't matter if we preach the whole time here. You have to bear witness you were in the mire. Because you can't force feed nobody. Nobody can be force fed. So, come on, read on.
Which in time past were not a people.
Right? And how many, remember that. How many of us think like that? You tell a brother, you tell a cat like that, you weren't shit in the world. You be like, what you mean? What you mean? I wasn't like, yeah, I know I said it in a harsh way. Okay, you weren't nothing in the world. You were nobody in the world. You're like, so all my life I'm nothing? How many of us feel that way? What did you live for? What did you breathe for? What did you wake up daily for? Was it for the Most High or was it for the lust of the flesh? Was it for your own will? Was it to fulfill what you want? And that's what a lot of us never come to terms with when it comes to the knowledge. It's like, nah, I can't accept you telling me I ain't shit. I didn't tell you that. The Most High already told you were shit. He already told us. Yeah, he said he chose the base things of the world to confound the wise. And that's in an optimistic way, right? But we can't even get it that way. He said, I chose the base things to confound the wise. But a lot of us don't want to realize that what? The things we did were base, the way we lived was base, the way we felt was base, thinking was base. But the Most High has given us the knowledge to bring us out of this base thinking. Right? There is another way. There is another thinking. Go ahead.
But are now the people of God.
Right.
Which are not obtained mercy. Which had not obtained mercy. But now have obtained mercy.
And that's what we have to realize. We obtained the mercy. And this is what's going to elevate us to this kingship, priests, leaders. But we got to bear witness that your method, my method, our method in the world didn't work. Right? I was bearing witness to some things the other day that I mean, I'm almost 50 now. I can tell you what happened when I was an idiot at 18 and 19. So when I'm telling you about, me arguing with my woman at 18, but I had to let all that go. How many people keep still holding on to, no, I'm a hard ninja, nobody's gonna disrespect me. Right? You come at me wrong, you're gonna get checked. See, I had to let that go at a young age. See? And hold on to that way till I get older. So yeah, it's a shame for me to, the way I move, knowing the knowledge. But a lot of brothers that's 18. What about now? You're 30, you're 40, and you're still moving like a child or moving in those ways that are outside of the knowledge. You have to bear witness, like I had to bear witness, no matter what age, that the way you're moving is not of the Most High. You have to denounce it. If you don't denounce it, this is why you come in. And this is what I was going to say to you yesterday, Jason. You're going to come in, you're going to see brothers around you, and you're going to wonder, like, why does this man still move like them in the world? Because everybody, it doesn't reach here. Everybody, a lot of people come to the truth because they think it's church again. They come for the feeling. They come for the hype. They come for, we're all brown skinned, right? So make sure when you come, you do what the scriptures say. Covet the best gifts. Cling to the strength. Because a lot of brothers might be new sitting in these seats, right? And they got to go through it. So don't let that deter your strength. You don't know how many brothers get weak over weak brothers. Because you're like, well, he's still weak. He's fighting just like you, bro. Don't cling to weakness. We got to cling to the strength, right? So where are we at?
We're at 1 Peter.
Okay, we're good on that. Let's go to Timothy's.
First Timothy.
For what?
First Timothy, chapter 3.
Yeah,
First Timothy.
we're working on it right now, y'all. We're working on the stream.
Go ahead.
First Timothy, chapter 3, verse 1.
Go ahead.
This is a true saying. If a man desire the office of a bishop, he desire a good work.
Right, so the first part of this priesthood, a nation of kings and priests, is understanding what you're called for. You desire to be a bishop, a leader, and whatever title that was put on the men of the past, right? Because there's many titles. There was officers, there was kings, you got deacons, right? And all these are just titles. But we know, what did the Most High say in that Peter's? That you're a nation of kings and priests. So how do we put on this new priesthood? And what, like, if I wanted to go through the checklist to be able to say, man, now I'm on the right path. I want to know if I'm on the right path. Go ahead.
A bishop then must be blameless.
Right. So a bishop, a man of the Most High, must be what?
Blameless.
So when coming to understanding your office as a bishop, you're supposed to be blameless. Now, all these qualities are what we're supposed to be trying to obtain as men in Christ, as women in Christ. Like, when you look at this, it doesn't matter. We generalize it for that reason. You're a nation of kings and priests, so you wouldn't say what? Well, I was told this before. Well, I'm not really trying to do all that. I'm not really trying to be a priest. Yeah, I'm not a Levite. Bro, Israel got game. That's why it's funny. Israel got game. I'm not a Levite. That's why he said, okay, you're all priests. So you wouldn't have to say, well, that was for the priesthood. Like, no, it's not for the priesthood. It's for you. It's for me. It's for all of. Y'all get this? So a nation of kings and priests, it said that he was what?
Must be blameless.
Must be what?
Blameless.
Blameless. It says, check this definition out. Doesn't mean sinless. It means without accusation. It says faultless in conduct and having a righteous reputation of believers and unbelievers. It's about moral integrity. It says and unbelief. It says it's about moral integrity, discipline, and being above reproach in doctrine and behavior. So, when you say blameless, people think, well, perfect. No, it's just about you holding to the standard, right? It's saying, well, I don't sin. No, it's about you, because the righteous is gonna fall. A just man falls 7 times. But what are you falling into? You falling into the wickedness? You falling into the weakness? You giving yourself to these things, or you saying, you know what? I know what path I'm on. Let me stick and stay strong to that. So, I know a lot of y'all already got this over and over and over and over again, but for them and for brothers that we haven't went over it for, they got to know this, that there is a checklist. Like, you got to have this checklist daily, or else you're going to say, nah, you know what? I don't care about being blameless. I don't got to prove myself to nobody. Right?
It's literally what we was going over last night. Where you just yourself. We got brothers that will think, well, because I'm articulate, because I'm educated, I read the Bible, so then I'm appoint myself as an ambassador of Christ. But that goes against what the scripture say. Go to that Timothy, 2 Timothy 2 and verse 5. Because we talk about it. It's nowhere in life where you could just, I'm a doctor. I'm gonna just put that doctrine title on because I know somebody that knows somebody that's a doctor. Affiliated with the mechanics, so I'm a mechanic. What we call them, Aharon?
You gotta refresh, sis.
What do you call them? Tree shade mechanics?
Shade tree.
Shade tree mechanics, right?
Shade tree?
Shade tree.
Yeah.
Why?
They worked up under the shade of the tree.
Oh, okay. It's on, sis. The light is on. You
Right.
gotta refresh though.
Like who trained you? And that's very
Shade
important.
tree.
Read where you at.
2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 5. And if a man also strive for masteries, yet is he not crowned, except he strive lawfully.
Right, lawfully according to what? According to the standards of the Bible.
Right.
The Bible talks about the importance of being taught, being under the tutelage. The heir is under the governors until the time appointed. But that's everywhere in life. Because who's gonna be able to correct you, like we said, to say that he was right? Who's gonna be able to correct you to say if your understanding is right? The Bible tells us to not to lean on our own understanding, so that means we must have somebody there. We must have somebody there to say, okay, you went through the right lawful method, now you can say you're on that path. But see, these are the things that'll slow you down and make you really value what it is to teach the word.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy? The Most High set it up like this. This is why he set everything in his life one against the other. Twos. There's always the male and the female, right? In gender, right? In animals, in everything, right? In biology, in everything you look at in this life is set up that way. Why? Because one thing reveals the other thing. So what reveals you? Your rib. Like if you want to run from brothers, your first defense is a woman, right? She'll tell you about yourself, what you're doing. So if you're not blameless with your rib, you're not blameless with, you're not going to be blameless with the congregation, right? Now remember, let's talk about a righteous woman. We're not talking about a crazy, right, woman with no judgment, no wisdom and no understanding. All right, let's off the bat. We're talking about, because a woman that's emotional, she's not in the spirit. So we're not talking about that. We're talking about a woman that is in the spirit that can at least pull your card and say, these things ain't right. Right? Like what you told me, you're not holding to. Right?
Right.
You been told that before?
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah?
Yes, sir.
What was that?
I don't really follow what I believe in seriously.
You see?
I don't practice what I preach.
But you see, you know why that would happen? Because the Most High has the woman there to be one. Because when you get away from the brothers in the congregation, you're going to go lay next to that woman. And if you're not blameless for her, she can't vouch for you. Who's going to vouch for you? Oh, he's a liar. He's deceptive, right? He don't keep to his word. He never does anything he says. He's a hypocrite, right? Your rib should be the first one to be able to vouch for you and say that, oh, this is a blameless man. That's why it's important. And I know we're gonna get here, but watch, jump down to verse 5 real quick.
On 1 Peter.
Yeah, 1 Timothy.
First Timothy. Oh, for if a man know not how to rule his own house, how shall he take care of the church of God? Right.
So if a man know not to rule his own house. So everything starts with what? Your environment, your house. It starts with you and yours, what you're doing, what you're dealing with. If you don't know how to keep yourself and run your house, this is the Bible going to show you how to put yourself and make yourself of that standard. This is the Most High going to lift you up. Watch. Go to Ecclesiastes 27:3. Go to Ecclesiastes 27:3. Because that's the check. Man, you start getting checked when your ribs start getting out of order. Right? What did I do? Did I do something off the spirit? You know what I mean? I did something the other day and then it jumped on my rib. I'm like, okay, that's exactly what's supposed to happen. I get out of the spirit and the weaker vessel is open. Because you let the hedge down, and that spirit jump on her. So a lot of times, what we don't want to do as blacks, Hispanic, and Native Americans is hold ourselves accountable first. This ain't that school. I can give y'all some names of those schools. If you don't want to be held accountable, you can go there. Because it's about numbers, it's about people. But if you want to be held accountable, we're going to do it. We're going to put it in your face. That's why a lot of brothers are sick and tired of this chapter. They're sick and tired of this chapter. They got this chapter 1,000 times. Why? Because it's a constant reminder, no matter how hard-headed you're going to be, we're going to keep going over this topic to remind brothers that this is why you fall short. You got to be blameless. Read that. Ecclesiastes 27 and 3. Yeah, read that.
Ecclesiastes chapter 27, verse 3.
Go ahead.
Unless a man hold himself diligently in the fear of the Most High,
right,
his house shall soon be overthrown.
And we don't know that. We don't understand that you got to hold yourself in the fear of the Lord or your house will fall. We don't know that. We don't know how to build a woman. We don't know that. We don't know how to guide a house. We don't know how to lead a nation. For the most part, we don't even know how to deal with ourselves. You know what I mean? That's why we punch in the walls. That's why we're kicking the cars. That's why we're throwing down the damn six-pack. Because we don't know how to function ourselves. Remember, the white man don't give us no spiritual education. There ain't math, science, right, history, and then mental health. And if they did give you a mental health class, really, how could a non-spiritual people teach you how to deal with your spirit?
I'm still trying to figure that out.
They can't.
I look at the VA, they just be like, drink some pills.
Yeah.
Therapy of the week.
But I'm gonna hate myself.
Right.
Let's talk about it.
Your therapist recommending another therapist.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is how serious this is. And when it comes to spiritual health and mental health, brothers have to really understand that it's only going to come through the Most High. And yes, it comes through the submission. Because no matter how much we have given brothers mental health, but they denied it, right? We just had another situation. A brother touching himself in front of the sister. He's no longer with us. But y'all got to understand that this is what demons come in and they try to, you know why that happened though? Because brothers sit around us, they never change, they sit here and act like, oh, you know what, yeah, I'm listening, I'm learning, but I don't feel that way. And then you see it in his actions. You try to give him counsel. You try to tell him the way he's going to do it. He's like, yeah, well, you know, it's an option. It's like, okay, nigga, you don't get it. It's not an option. But he's no longer here. Why? Because you remember this whole year back that we kept going over ejaculation classes, masturbation classes? It's to help brothers. All these classes. But you know what happens with Israel? They us. They don't want to listen. You don't want to hear. You yawn. You get tired of the repetition. But you know why we got to keep repeating them? Because you're not going to say, oh, I didn't get it. Right. These brothers didn't tell me. And that's why it's important to hold yourself accountable. Your house is going to fall unless you... Yes, our job, we can talk your damn head off, but it's still on you to listen to the words of the Most High. And that's why he's not around, because every time he talks and you suggest and you give him wisdom and you go to the Bible, he's like, yeah, but I do it this way. That was his whole vibe. Yeah, but I do it this way. But he never broke the spirit from coming in to now. To now, 5 years later, he never broke the spirit. Is it because the Bible don't work?
No.
It's because you don't want to work the Bible. It ain't got nothing to do with the Bible don't work. But you see why we're not afraid to talk about it? Because brothers be capping. You cannot cap God. You cannot play games with this. Read, come on.
As when one sifteth with a sieve,
right?
And refuse remaineth.
Right. No. Read it from the top.
As one.
I need you, bro. Come on, where are you at? Read it again, sir.
Where we at? As
Please.
one.
No, read it from the.
Sorry. Ecclesiastes chapter 27, verse 3. Lest a man hold himself diligently in the fear of the Most High, his house shall soon be overthrown.
We got to get our house right first. That means what? We got to hold ourselves accountable to our family first. If you can't do that, then you will fall short in the other areas. And that's why it says in Timothy's, it says, for if a man know not how to rule his own house, how shall he take care of the house of the Lord? So it's accountability, right? And that accountability, we go back to the second verse. What did it say? 2 and 1?
A bishop then must be blameless.
A bishop must be blameless. Right. Blameless is taking accountability and knowing what you're doing and what you're not doing. What is not acceptable of the Most High, what is wrong, and saying, man, it's off and leaving it alone. But brothers don't want to be blameless. Right? So we can't vouch for that. We cannot vouch for these things. Go to Philippians 2, verse 14. Just on the blameless. We're going to go over a few verses on blameless. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Philippians chapter 2, verse 14.
Go ahead.
It reads, do all things without murmuring.
Right.
Without murmurings and disputing.
What keeps us blameless? What keeps us blameless? Read.
Verse 15. That ye may be blameless and harmless, the sons of God.
Right. Murmuring and disputing. You always want to combat. You always want to fight. You always want to argue the point. The Most High said, put off the old man, but I like smoking blunts. What's wrong with that? Right? The Most High said, put off the old man. Well, I like turning out hoes. What's wrong with that? Why you hoe shaming me, brother? You think it's funny, but I mean, it is funny in the sense it's sad. Brothers want to hold on to that. Right? Yeah, so what? Yeah, I used to pistol whip cats. Why are you gangster shaming me? Right? But that's the mentality. I know it sounds funny, and that's how it is. It is funny to us. Because you're coming in an environment, I'm going to say it again. You hate the churches, right? Chap, we always talk about the churches, how phony they are. And we all do it. We talk about how phony the churches are. They come in, you know what I mean? You're banging chicks in the congregation, the pastors. But when we start holding people accountable, then it's like, y'all too hard. The brother in Rochester told Zion, the standard is too high. I quote, the standard is too high. You put that one in your arsenal of the dumbest to say the truth. The standard is too high. It's supposed to be. Because you know what the standard, what we're dealing with? Young men trying to go around and be whoremongers. Young men trying to deal with pornography. Young men trying to do their thing, use the sisters, use the women they're with, but not hold themselves accountable. This is literally the arguments we have. Why you not lifting me up to my rib and telling her to submit to me? That's the argument. But you don't want to hold yourself accountable to the standard, but you want to be King Deacon. It don't work like that. We're not going to vouch. I don't give a damn how much you try to cry, mourn, badmouth us about whatever you want, but we're not going to vouch for that. That's not acceptable according to the Most High. The scriptures say to be blameless, you weren't supposed to be murmuring and what?
And harmless.
No, it said and disputing. Those are the first things that's going to keep you blameless. Like, how do I start learning how to deal with people around me instead of just arguing everything's a fight and an argument? How do I start dealing like a man of wisdom? And we were talking over that a little bit yesterday. Go ahead, Ariana.
Verse 15. That you may be blameless and harmless.
Right.
The sons of God.
Right.
Without rebuke.
With what?
Without rebuke.
Meaning nobody can say nothing right now. Right now. Let's talk about it. Before you came into the truth, who were you known as? Give me one word. One word. What?
Right hand.
Right hand.
Right hand, 'cause I knock people out.
All right, there you go. You was known to knock out. What were you in the world?
Trifling.
Huh?
Trifling.
Oh, that's beautiful. Trifling. he went deep, trifling. One word, man. One word in the world. He's a hoe. How rock? What were you in the world? He said, "Oh."
I told the N-word.
A ninja. He was a ninja, right? He was a trifling hoe, right? You know, we argue that now. See, because if you are, nothing is changed.
Right.
And this is the problem, brothers. Accountable, when you hold yourself accountable and blameless, you cannot be what you were in the world. Right? You can't be that guy. And that's what it means to be this bishop, to be blameless. You got to hold yourself to a higher standard now. And everything wasn't an argument. Everything wasn't a fight. Everything wasn't a debate. Right? It was the foundation was the wisdom of the Most High. Right? Or else you're going to be what? Smoking weed while you're in the truth. Or else you're going to be the beat-off king while you're in the truth. Or else you're going to be the hoe while you're in the truth. This is what it is. And then, in essence, it's the what? You just like the churches, the hypocrites. Right? We're talking the mess. You're cutting people out the street speaking. But then you're still doing the same thing. Right? So read on. Come on.
It says, without rebuke.
Right.
In the midst of a crooked and perverse nation.
Right. But there's supposed to be a difference between the perverseness in us. Right. But you're still perverse. And this is the standard we got. It is a high standard. But what are we giving up, though? Trifling holes? Right? Animals, beasts, thugs? Yeah. What are we giving up? What are we denying? Where'd you, where'd you say go? Huh? Where was that?
Oh, 1 Corinthians 4.
Go to 1 Corinthians 4. That was right on point with this.
You just want to be son.
Yeah, we're going to have to. That's why I just said that.